Obviously, more call about daily update TV so and it sees and then the genum giddy guy a demand air qua copinse best mahami and him on the big walk when I had a sumo and a free and a quinina. Now, Abusia, Nina and Radi see finally electoral commission declare a year 3 seats at the ama a year NPP Tema Central Ablukman North a suspend and Techiman South Okagwe Central good. We declared the NPP for but NDC for say Dr. Rashid Tanku say in Kasa Yemono chess or Mumpen or mobile file appeal to reverse that seat. And I said they have underground plans. It's a bit this is not a good news because electoral commission person no increasing the number of what the NPP in Parliament because say seat now already this seat near declare NDC increase NDC numbers now, but NDC still they are working hard and they have plan B. Our mother best stop it this because Omunim say illegal, full illegal. We go to Dr. Rashid Tangu, and this is the update on the 4 seats. 3 has gone in favor of NPP and 1 in suspension as it is now. It's in go to Dr. Rashid Tangu. Plan B bear no more. That bear no more file a legal process for appeal. Until no go to name.
And Techiman South. But it appears that's not the end of those disputed constituencies yet, because the NDC have appealed this morning to help us put this in perspective, and his Deputy Director of Elections and IT. Doc, thank you so much for joining us on the AM show. Now, I remember when the Supreme Court quashed that ruling of the High Court to recollate and, to listen to the NDC MPs on that mandamus list, if the ruling does not come in your favor. You said nothing of the sort could happen because the processes are being followed. It turns out that something contrary happened. And yesterday I listened to you say it is illegal. What is your case? We want to understand from your perspective why you say the declaration of these 3 results is illegal.
Very well. Sweetie, let me say good morning to your cherished viewers and then you yourself. Clearly, what happened yesterday was a total illegality being perpetrated by the Electoral Commission. And then, you see, this Electoral Commission is fast becoming a very lawless institution. And we must purge it with this kind of lawlessness they have been doing. You see, anytime it suits them, they choose and pick. That's how they are. And that is why they have made themselves, and everybody now tend to believe that they are in collusion with NPP to deny those 4 constituencies right representations. That is what they are doing. And it appears they are just helping the NPP to show up their number. Because everything that they are doing point towards that direction.
Now, I want you to be as specific as possible so we understand your argument. What exactly is illegal in everything that we've seen so far? The High Court ruled on that mandamus application and asked that Electoral Commission conclude on collation, not recollate. So what's the illegality here?
The issue is about we filing a process to stay execution of the orders of the High Court. And on top of it, we also file an appeal against the ruling. We serve the Electoral Commission. They are in notice, they are aware of this processes. So why would they go ahead and conduct such an exercise yesterday? Is it not an illegal exercise? Why wouldn't we describe as an illegal exercise? Were they not in the know that these processes were pending in the High Court? What was their haste? Why are they in their hurry?
Well, we have a couple of days to swearing in of the new members of Parliament. Maybe it's a time factor, so that they can conclude this in time.
STAL was in perpetuity for 4 years. What did they do about it? What did they do about it? For 4 years, they didn't have representation. Didn't have Electoral Commission. Were they not the same these commissioners that made sure that SAL didn't get representation? What is in their haste? Why are they in the haste just trying to please the NPP? Or what is it? It's a legal process. We are all following the due process. We filed this process asking them to stay execution of that.
Okay,
and let's go through the right process.
Doc, what was your reason behind asking for that stay of execution and your appeal against the ruling? Now let's get into that.
Look, total travesty of justice occurred in High Court. I wish you were in the court to see the kind of ruling the High Court judge was presenting to everybody. Look, a bucket full of lies were poured in front of the judge, and he succumbed to those lies. He didn't even allow anybody to cross-examine those lies that the guys came and put it. Look, EC officials signed the affidavit, and in the affidavit, they deposed certain things they deposed in those affidavits. Complete lies, total lies, saying that their returning officers were forced to do declarations, that they were put on gunpoint, their lives were in danger, so they needed to do those declarations in order to get away from the troubles, and that NDC supporters came and vandalized their places and all that. Who cross-examined them? Nobody cross-examined this to find out the veracity of the stories they brought before the judge. But the judge made a ruling based on those things. So the judge was ruling as if he was sitting on an election petition. This was not an election petition. It was a mandamus. So his ruling was basically on an election petition, as if he was making his ruling based on an election petition. People have argued their cases. Nobody argued cases on the veracity of the declarations and all that.
All right, Doc, please hold for me.
So what basis was he making ruling on that?
Okay, please hold for me. I'll come back to you in a bit. Let me also bring in Dr. Kwekwajiman Budu. He's Gimpa School of Law. He's Dean of Gimpa Law School, and he also joins us via Zoom. Doc, thank you for joining the conversation. I also remember having a conversation with you when we were awaiting the ruling on these 4 disputed constituencies. I asked you to make an educated guess, which you didn't exactly say what might happen. But are you Rashid Tanko with me? Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. He says it's just legal processes.
I'm not surprised you asked him that question. I know he was just doing the same NPP propaganda. He was not speaking of law. He was speaking.
I just
NPP
wanted
propaganda.
to clarify, Doc.
No, that's right. But I'm happy you have put him on that strict proof. He was speaking NPP propaganda. He wasn't speaking law. I say these are the problem we have in Ghana. Okay, if you should have put that NPP lenses somewhere and wear his law lenses and go through it. What is he talking about? Who told him that you cannot make declarations without necessarily going through all the polling stations? Who told him? Where did he learn that thing from? How was John Mahama declared? Was he not declared without 9 constituencies? Was he not declared without the 9 constituencies? What is he talking about? You see, these are the things they do and mess up everybody in the country. You should stop their NPP propaganda, and let's face it. And I'm saying that it doesn't lie in the judge's mouth to make a declaration based on a mandamus application, which he turned it to be, disguise it in the form of a election petition. That's what they were doing.
Okay.
We know the kind of collusion that went through that process. Look, and I'm saying that if you want us to go that path, we will go that path and they will see. I say we know what they have done. And we are going to make sure that we are not going to allow it to stand.
Okay, so let's look at the bottom line, right? In terms of the results that we have so far, in Tema Central, the EC, what's his name? Mr. Forson secured 18,870 votes, narrowly defeating Ebi Bright, who had 18,815 votes. For Kwankwe Central, we have Patrick Yalboama with 21,099 votes, and Baba Sadiq had 19,368 votes. And then in Techiman South, after collating all the results now, we have Mr. Kosa has 46,663 votes, while Christopher Bayere has 43,429 votes. Bottom line, are these results going to be contested by the NDC?
Of course, the thing we are going to allow it to stand.
And what's your reason? Does your pink sheet or your own independently collated results, is it different from what we have right now from the EC?
Look, what you have from the EC is a creation of NPP and Electoral Commission put together. They even brought their own people to do declaration. Do you know that we don't have anything like deputy returning officers in our CI? CI 127, tell me which part of it has deputy returning officer? This is what happened at Tema Central yesterday. when they were doing their own collation. Look at the man. He described himself as a deputy returning officer and said made the call. So they are telling us today, Boss Manasari can announce presidential results when Jean Mensa is sitting there. Is that what they are telling us?
Dr. Tanko.
When the judge was sitting at the High Court and saying this, I'm saying that those things, if they want us to go into election petition matter, we'll go into the matter. And I'm saying that those declarations so made yesterday were illegal.
Okay, Dr. Tanko, we don't have enough time. I want to be sure. Do you have different numbers from what we have? The numbers I just put out in Tema Central, Okankwe Central, and Techiman South. The independently collated results you have, are they different from what the numbers I just put out?
Sweetie, when the returning officer declare as winners, which number did they use to declare as winners? Which number did they use to declare? Were they not satisfied that the NDC won those seats? They were satisfied in their mind before they made those declarations. So which numbers did they use? Today they have different numbers. They came with, do you know that these people manufactured their own pink sheets and came in and arrived at these numbers? They brought their own pink sheets. Look at what is going on at Ablekuma. That's why there's a stalemate. They brought their own pink. They didn't even have. They just sat on a laptop and designed pink sheets and said these are soft copies. That is what they are doing.
Are you going to put
We've all learned this thing. I am saying that if we are going to follow these figures are manufactured figures at the collation centers by opponents of NDC.
Right. So are you going to put out the figures that you have?
Brought them there and declared themselves.
Dr. Tanko,
we saw it.
Are you going to put out the figures that you have? And we should be wrapping up so briefly. Are you going to put out the figures that you have so everyone can see the difference that you talk about?
Is that what you want us to do? You want us to now turn ourselves to electoral commissioners and start bringing our figures?
Well, these are the results that are in public.
If we do
you're
that,
saying that
if
they
are
illegal.
But we are saying that we are going through the legal process. That is why we are going through it. If you want us to bring figures, how can bring a figure right now? And for whose interest?
Okay.
That is why I'm saying that let's do the thing judiciously so that everybody will know that these are the right things that we are doing. Not NPP manufactured lawyers who will sit down there and then be concocting their own stories and come and pure lies on public platforms.
In a matter of hours, Dr. Tanko, in a matter of hours, the 8th Parliament will exit and we'll have a new Parliament. What are the next steps for you as regards to those 4 disputed constituencies? Next steps.
Our lawyers are in action as I speak now. Our Director of Legal Service, that is Edwigi Tamaklo and his team, they have their plans and they will not disclose this. We are not disclosing our plans now. When we reach, we'll cross. We have it under our sleeves. We have our plans under our sleeves.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tanko. Happy with the results so far?
Good morning. It's not a question about being happy with the results. It's a question about whether the rulings of the court have done substantial justice to the issues at stake. And we all know what the issues at stake where the parties presented their cases respectively before.
Doc, can you speak up for me? I'm struggling to hear you.
No, I was saying that the parties presented their cases respectively before the court. So at the end of the day, a decision has been arrived at based on what was presented before the court. So it's not a question about whether it was an election petition or not. That issue, there was a preliminary objection that was raised right at the beginning by the NDC candidate and the NDC itself, which the court went into and overruled that preliminary objection, which was grounded on the fact that the mandamus application was an election petition disguised as a mandamus application. The court disagreed based on the law, and the law is quite clear as to when mandamus will lie. And for the avoidance of doubt for your listeners, your viewers, a mandamus is simply an order that can be issued by a court to direct a public body or a public official to do its public duty. And to the extent that the Electoral Commission had not completed its public duty, which in this circumstance is collating the results in the specific constituencies in question, bear in mind that Regulation 43 of CI 127 says that you need a full complement of all the results from all polling stations in the constituency to be put on the Form 1C, that's the Parliamentary Election Results Collation form. And on that basis, you can transcribe that to the Form 1D, the summary sheet. So to the extent that in these constituencies concerned, that full complement of results from the polling stations had not been received and collated, and then there was a purported declaration, or as I choose to call it, an announcement made on the basis of not all the polling station results, you cannot have a declaration properly so-called in law. And I believe that was...
I had daily update TV, so now I'll show you my dinner and I'll share, subscribe, share, no more new being second. God bless you.